Have you ever heard anyone singing something like that? You might think it's just gibberish or random syllables, but it's actually called scatting or improvisation, and it's typically used in a genre called jazz. Jazz started out in the 1900s in America in a place called New Orleans. Then a lot of jazz musicians moved to Chicago and eventually settled in New York City. In the 1920s, New York City experienced a true jazz age, where lots of jazz clubs opened up and a lot of the great musicians of the time performed in them really often. Today, New York City is still considered one of the world's jazz hubs, although the jazz you would hear today is a little bit different from what you would hear in the 1920s. Jazz is a combination of classical music and African music, as it was invented by African Americans to help them connect with their roots. Just like we listen to the songs our grandparents used to listen to as a way to connect with our history. One of the most recognizable parts of jazz is improvisation. But what is improvisation? Imagine I gave you a piece of paper and a pencil and asked you to draw whatever you want. You would be improvising, creating based on what you feel in the moment. That's basically what jazz musicians do with music. When they improvise a solo, they're playing what they feel in that moment. Some of the instruments you'll typically hear in jazz are voice, piano, guitar, upright bass, trumpet, and saxophone. If you want to listen to some jazz, you can check out artists like Louis Armstrong, Sarah Vaughan, Ella Fitzgerald. I hope you learned a little bit about jazz. It's personally one of my favorite genres. Here's a little bit of what jazz sounds like.